After examining Nadia, the doctor informed her that she could be discharged. She was overjoyed at the idea of going home the following day. However, the doctor, Pavel Yurievich, assured her that she would recover faster at home. Nadia decided not to call her husband, Sergei, who was still at work. She planned to surprise him by taking the bus home on her own, as her bag was not heavy. She envisioned the joy on Sergei's face when he arrived home to find his beloved wife and a delicious dinner waiting for him. Additionally, Sergei had promised a surprise of his own, so it seemed only fair. Nadia couldn't help but feel a wave of longing as she imagined how much they had missed each other. Nadia and Sergei had only been married for 6 months. They first met as witnesses at the wedding of their friends, where a heated argument between the bride and groom had broken out. The bride's ex-boyfriend had unexpectedly shown up and tried to whisk her away, causing the groom to become jealous. Nadia and Sergei spent an hour mediating the dispute, successfully reconciling the couple. Eventually, the newlyweds shared a kiss amidst cheers of relief, while Nadia and Sergei emerged from the cafe, laughing at the absurdity of the situation. They were grateful that their intervention had saved their friend's relationship, highlighting the power of love. Within 3 months, both Nadia and Sergei had decided to formalize their own relationship and filed a marriage application at the registry office. They had yet to find their own place and were currently renting a one-room apartment. Despite the small space, they lived harmoniously, eagerly returning home after work to cook and clean together. In the evenings, they would snuggle under a blanket on the sofa, engaged in heartfelt conversations. Nadia believed that their love for each other was unconditional, accepting each other's flaws and quirks with open hearts. Upon arriving home, she hastily discarded her coat, only to be immediately greeted by the sound of voices emanating from the bathroom. Nadia's heart raced with fear as she cautiously approached the door. "Honey, you're a miracle," a woman's voice whispered with breathless adoration. "I adore you, my cupcake." The joyous exhalations and gentle kisses blended with a contented male voice. Nadia was frozen in shock, unable to comprehend how her beloved Sergei could bring a stranger into their home to engage in such intimate acts. Aware of her own presence being so close to them, Nadia felt a surge of embarrassment. Her eyes darted around the room, landing upon a heap of clothes on the sofa, with a red woman's coat casually draped on top. She'll run him over, Nadia thought, her mind consumed with anguish. With tears streaming down her face, she fled from the apartment, descending the stairs from the 3rd floor and rushing out onto the street. Unaware of the cold March weather, the cloudy and windy day, Nadia kept walking, wiping away her tears. Lost in her distress, she failed to notice the passage of time. Suddenly, she snapped back to reality, feeling a warm object placed upon her shoulders. Surprised, Nadia looked up and found a stranger standing before her, pulling the edges of his jacket over her chest. "Have you been ill for long?" he reproachfully inquired. "Just today, from the hospital," Nadia mumbled in response. And cautiously, the boy inquired, giving her a sidelong glance. "Not from the asylum, I hope." "No," Nadia shook her head. "I had my appendix out. And now she's already wanting to go back with Angina," he replied. "No, I don't. It's just that I came home, and there they were in the bathroom," Nadia explained, unable to hold back her sobs any longer. 15 minutes later, Victor, the new acquaintance named Victor, was pouring hot coffee into a huge mug for Nadia in his small yet tidy kitchen. Nadia held the mug like a child, warming her hands and swallowing her tears as she recounted what had happened to her. "Nadia, I really need to leave. If I don't show up at work soon, I'll be fired, and I really need the money. I left my parents because it doesn't matter. You stay here. Please don't go anywhere. There's food in the fridge and coffee on the table. Just don't do anything foolish. I'll be back in about 4 hours, and we'll figure out what you're going to do next." "Okay," Victor assured her. Nadia nodded, unsure of her next steps, but trusting Victor completely. He left, and as Nadia finished her coffee, she glanced around Victor's apartment to distract herself from her thoughts. Just then, the phone began to ring. Startled, Nadia threw the phone onto the sofa. It continued to play music, and she couldn't bring herself to answer. "Why aren't you answering?" A woman's voice suddenly came from behind her. Nadia turned abruptly to find a calm and pretty girl standing in the doorway of the room. "Who are you? I'm Nadia. What are you doing here, Nadia?" Waiting for Victor. The girl walked around Nadia, giving her a smirk, and shrugged her shoulders. "Vidya is my boyfriend. He's honest, and I haven't seen him going to the left, at least not yet. Your outfit is obviously not for seduction, and your eyes seem tearful. So I'm curious, tell me what happened. He brought you here for a reason." Nadia sniffled and confided in this stranger with kind and understanding eyes. "It's clear that nothing is clear. And what does he say?" asked the girl, whose name was Vika. Nadia replied that she couldn't talk to him. "Let's do this then," said Vika. "Since you don't have any clothes, I'll go investigate to see if things are really as sad as you say." Vika quickly got dressed and soon rang the doorbell of Nadia's apartment. The door opened, revealing a tall girl in a short, homemade robe that barely covered her. Vika giggled and glanced behind her. "Where's Sergey? Did you run him over after all?" The girl blushed from Vika's audacity and shouted, "Oh, you little troublemaker, I know who you are now." She reached out to grab Vika's jacket. Realizing the danger, Vika quickly assessed the situation and darted outside. Fortunately, the girl couldn't run that fast. Vika rushed back to Victor's apartment, slightly out of breath and with little success. Nadia let out a sad sigh while Vika awkwardly remained silent. Just then, Vidya walked in. When the girl shared everything with him, he offered to speak to Sergey himself. He dialed the number Nadia had given him, put it on speakerphone, and waited for a response. "Sergey, your wife is here at my place. She witnessed something and doesn't want to talk to you, but she needs clothes," Vidya stated firmly. After a long pause, a voice on the other end of the call questioned, "Is this some kind of joke?" Vidya calmly replied, "I assure you, it's not. If you're truly a man, gather her belongings and bring them here." Before Vidya could say anything else, Sergey contradicted, "Actually, my wife is in the hospital. I'm sorry, but I have no time to talk right now. I have movers bringing furniture into the apartment." Nadia, shocked by the mention of an apartment, couldn't hold back. "What furniture, Sergey?" Sergey, caught off guard, responded, "Oh, so you're really there. I'm furnishing our new apartment and preparing a surprise for you. And here you are, sitting naked at some man's place." Fortunately, Vika came to Nadia's defense before it could turn into a lengthy explanation. During Nadia's hospital stay, Sergey had managed to find an apartment at a steep price, available for rent with an option to buy. He had intended to surprise his wife and had even purchased some furniture. However, another couple, Galia and Sergey, had already rented the same apartment. Despite the mix-up, Galia and Sergey were kind-hearted and pleasant people. Sergey couldn't help but fall in love with Galia, who happened to be an excellent cook. When Nadia returned to the apartment to collect her coat, she explained the situation to Galia. Understanding and forgiving, Galia waved off the misunderstanding and invited everyone over for stuffed cabbage. She even helped Nadia reconcile with Victor's parents, who initially opposed their relationship due to Vika being 3 years older than him. Under Galia's guidance, Vika baked an exquisite cake, and together with Vidya, they presented it to his parents. The taste was so outstanding that the parents decided to overlook the age difference, as long as Vika would continue to feed their son with her culinary delights. In this unexpected turn of events, 3 wonderful couples were brought together by a series of coincidences, forming a bond of true friendship that would last a lifetime.